All right. You better press record because this is it, man. It's 1 out of like 10. Oh
no, 1 out of 50. Yes, but yes. Let us begin. It's been another fucking month because that's what happens with us apparently. Like this used to be a weekly thing, but now it's a monthly thing.
Oh no, let's not let 3 months of pattern make. The statistics would show, in fact, that the average time between shows is probably 10 days on average. Maybe even 9. Maybe even 9 on average.
Okay. So it's been a while. I
was in the hospital.
You have had a foot thing.
I have a and it is Spartan green, as you may have seen. Here it is.
Yes. Okay. Boy, that is for the Patreon subscribers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So it's lucky Irish vibes.
No, MSU, go green, go white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
no, not related.
So describe in not too gory detail what happened to your foot and what's your plan for recovery?
Well, I knew you would ask,
Go.
so I prepared a few notes. Well, number one, the odd part of the accident is like the other accident that had me in the hospital with wounds and a cast was a freak accident where the lampshade broke on my head, spun in the air, and then sliced my wrist open, severing.
That was episode 2, I believe.
Yeah, it was early on. Well, similar to that, this was walking in the dark, going to my bed, and a rocking chair that's in my room under the window. I simply walk between the rocking chair and the bed to walk around to get to my bed. I stubbed my ankle.
It jumped out at you.
The rocker panel, the rocking part that sticks out only 2 inches. And when I did it, I remember thinking, oh, that's going to hurt. And it did for a while, then it kind of went away. And then 5 months later, I said, my ankle's injured from this, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, MRI, torn, at least a torn ligament, maybe worse, maybe broken. And as luck would have it, from our days as apes, I have an extra ligament that runs alongside this that is useless.
Yeah, maybe.
So I worked on that leg, painting the house, and the episodes of my copious, freaking handyman work.
Yeah.
I was up and down a ladder, painted a house, so by the time I got there, as he told me later, I apparently had shredded it.
Oh, no.
And he said later, I don't know how you could even walk on it. And I was just limping a little. It didn't hurt that bad. Because the only thing the ligament does, as I'm told, is it helps you with your side-by-side lateral movement of your ankle. And also, you're getting on your tippy toes, which I don't do that much unless I'm fishing. And even then, I'm not on my tippy toes. I only do that when I'm going out looking for a date. So...
Looking for a date?
Yeah. Never mind. That's a side note for further discussion.
We'll park that comment.
So, funny story. I'm in pre-op on the appointed day. Had been fasting all night. And people came in, very, very well attended, very clear, very personable. Dude came in, only black guy who on me here, big guy, and he's really good at what he's doing, explaining it to me. And he says, "You have any questions?" I said, "Well, I have one." I said that operating room cap you have on, it's rather garish. Do you think you could change into something green and white? Because he was in fact wearing a Michigan University of Michigan operating cap.
Right.
And he said, oh. I said, "So you're a State fan?" I said, "You bet." And he said, "Well, it doesn't much matter to me. I went to 3 other colleges." And he told me his colleges. And he said, "And if you want to pay for my tuition and my room and board, I'll go to MSU, so I'll have 4 degrees." And he laughed,
Why would you want to make an enemy of your surgeon at that stage?
No, he wasn't a surgeon. He was the anesthesiologist who only had my life in his hand. But I knew that he was this kind of guy that would have fun with this. And in fact, he laughed and said, "I don't care. I like either teams." And so we go, and to prove the point, I go in the operating room. They strap me down. I'm getting doozy. They strap me down. I'm a little surprised they're strapping down both my arms, but of course they don't want me to reach and grab them.
Sure.
During the operation. And
which you would not if they had properly sedated you, right? Like.
I'm not. I think either way I'd be strapped down if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but like, if they didn't put you totally to sleep, and you wanted to reach out to be like, "Hey, I'm not totally asleep." I don't know.
It could be involuntary movement, and it's like me moving my leg. First 2 weeks in the splint, where I would have a dream, and in the dream I was running, and so I was pumping my right leg, and woke up to ice pick level, excruciating, ripping, screaming out loud pain. Where, of course, woke up my wonderful caretaker wife. "What is it? What is it?" And I said, "I'm good. It's just a dream. And I need a minute. I'll take 2 Ibus." Half hour later, it wouldn't hurt. But those kind of involuntary things.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I'm strapped down, the dude who comes in, his name is Will or Bill. He comes in, and when he's starting to hook me up, I said, "Thank God you're here, Bill." And he had that cap on, and he said, "How you doing, Dennis?" And then he turned out a tape recorder he had in his hand to the U of M fight song, and that's what I went out under. And as he was playing it, I had the operating room in stitches, yelling out, I knew it, he's going to cut off my leg. I'm in the crucifix position and I don't like it at all." And they were just screaming with laughing, and then I passed out. That was funny. It was funny. I was a little bit blown away by the lights in the room and the number of people and the gowns and the mounting me and and the cross. And anyway, it didn't last long. But anyway, what they did was they just, like 2 rivers flowing next to each other, they dammed up one of them in 2 spots, the bad one, and where it flowed down my leg, instead of going straight down my leg, now it takes a little right turn and hooked into the other ligament, where it stays for a while and then it hooks back into the original ligament. So it's like a diverted reconnect on a hose.
So they are ankle beavers.
They are ankle beaters. And there's
beavers.
Beavers, like
ankle beavers,
like like the animals. With
they dammed
tails.
up one.
Oh yeah, right. Surgical beavers. I couldn't help but thinking of things that are not.
Well, you would.
Wouldn't do.
Yes. Yes.
And so they stitched that up, and then they closed up all my meat down in there, and tied all that
Closed up all my meat.
with dissolvable stitches. And then they took my skin and they stitched it with 24 staples. And they clipped the staples by doubling up the skin around the wound so that it was almost like a closable plastic bag with a crease on it. When they put the staples in, it looked exactly like a zipper. I think I showed you a picture. And it's 7 inches long and goes the whole length of the affected tendons, the 2 tendons. And the doctor said, I looked at it and I yelled out, "Oh my God, it's Frankenfoot." And he laughed. "Oh no," he said, "You are 100% where I'd want you to be, even better. Whatever you did, it worked. I'm taking the staples out today, giving you a new cast." And I went, "So this is good, huh?" He said, "Yeah." And then he put on a hard cast, and recovery is no weight bearing for 5 weeks. I'm in my 3rd. The splint.
Nice.
I couldn't use my one-legged crutch nor a scooter because the splint was flexible. And if you knelt on anything, it would affect it. Got that off after 2 weeks. I was elevated foot higher than heart 24 hours a day for 13 days, except to piss, and twice when I went out for an hour. So that's what I did, and I drank a gallon of water a day. I ate good food, fatty, protein, carbs, just actually gained a couple of pounds. And so now I've gone to my crutches, which are perfectly placed, my scooter, which is, I call it the Paul 2, because it's one better than what he has. As he and I discussed, I should have recorded. That'd be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Bigger wheels, basically, in the front, and a basket.
Nice.
Of course.
Ooh, a basket. Nice.
A removable basket that removes with just a simple lift. So you can be kneeling and transfer. Like I take my dirty dishes out to the kitchen, and and it's fast. It's got a high degree of slipperiness with these big ball bearings. It's great.
Nice.
So much easier than my crutches. So I'm learning that. And then to get upstairs today, I'm using this, which is my one-man peg leg.
Okay. So you sit on the...
You strap your knee in here.
Okay.
And strap your knee to strap your knee at your thigh, at your knee joint, and at your calf. Strap. Strap on,
so
strap on. And when it is strapped down right...
Yes.
Yes. And when it straps on right, it is attached to your leg, just like a leg, and it's got to be taut, not too tight, And when you get used to it, it's kind of a swinging leg because you got your big leg behind it, up the stairs in a scoot. But you got to unstrap it to sit. You got to unstrap it unless you're going to be pissing in the toilet. Unlike crutches, you're up, down, and unlike the scooter, which with a little practice, you can get in the smallest of spaces and not have to worry, because at all times, your leg is either on the ground or your knee is supporting you, and it's not that heavy. You can move it. You can lift the front of it and turn it. And so I'm very mobile right now. I fell once last week reaching for something. I actually still had the splint on, and I fell. And I landed flat down on my chest on one of my crutches, and the only thing I hurt was my shoulder. But no,
Okay,
no
good.
damage to the leg. And then the other day, I was in the worst position, was at the top of the stairs, and I moved when I shouldn't have, and my right arm, flexibly caught the door jamb, but it caught it below the elbow on that soft meat. So I was supporting my entire weight from not falling down, sliding my elbow down the freaking door jamb. Ah! Oh, I went to my wife. I went, oh, oh, and I stood there, 'cause it just hurt so bad. But anyway, so I stopped using my crutches for a day, and I'm writing some music. Got a couple of tunes down. Sent them over to my guitar player. I did one today that I'm gonna ask you to help me with, because it's a Latin song, a Latin beat, and I translated it into Spanish.
Thank you.
Comiendome is the name of it. Eating me away, and it's way cool. But I'm just working in the horns and shit like that. But I want the reading of the Spanish lyrics to be read by a Spaniard or someone good with Spanish, and
Sure.
and say this, because I
can do
did
that,
side by
yes.
side the English and the Spanish. But it's going to be a lot of fun, because I'm going to turn it into a real orchestral, fucking horns and yeah. So
Okay.
that's keeping me busy. I went out, weeded the front yard
Well,
yesterday.
I also have some content. If you shut the fuck up for a second.
And just to be clear, I haven't talked to anybody in 3.5 weeks, and I'm just sitting here thinking, boy, it's really good that I got Erik. I can talk to Erik. I can just tell him everything that's been going on, everything that's going through my mind.
So,
Glad you're here.
so, uh, so, I've been to Madrid and then to Athens, Greece.
Oh,
And
that's
we've
not as good as my
spoken.
story.
But I want to close our chapter on, like, The Last of Us, for example.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen the end of that?
Yes.
So 2 days ago, I was on my flight back from Greece. It's a 3-hour flight. And the woman next to me in the airplane is starting to watch season 2, episode 2.
Wow.
Are you
Yeah.
you understand? And I'm like, oh fuck, this is gonna be a ride. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch her experience this.
Yeah.
Like, she's watching on her phone or whatever, and it was amazing to watch her, because I think arguably that was the best episode of season 2.
Second one?
Second one,
When he died?
where first of all, there's like this crazy zombie attack on Jackson, like
Yeah.
on the town.
Crazy.
And
That was episode 1, right?
No, that was 2.
That was 2.
And
Okay.
it was all in 2. Like, all the crazy shit was in 2. Where, like, there was this crazy attack. The zombies on Jackson,
And
Wyoming, where are they?
big fungi monsters,
Yeah.
3 stories high.
Well, and I have since learned, as I spoke to you, that playing the video game, my son has taught me that those big blubbery guys.
Yeah.
I forget their names. Uh, Sloppers or whatever they're called. Like the best way to beat them is with fire. And in this episode, like I didn't know that when I first saw it, but then when I saw this again, yes,
Which is what they did, right?
Joel's brother.
The oil drums full.
Yeah. They light him up with the flamethrower, but yeah, then when Joel meets his end, like it was so so interesting to watch this poor woman next to me be like,
yeah.
wait,
Yeah.
did that really happen? And she looked at me, and I was like, yeah. It really happened.
It really happened.
But so anyway, gosh, the whole season, man, it was like the like I don't like any of the characters. Like they're all kind of shitty.
Oh, any of the what?
Any of the characters, like Ellie ends up being kind of a horrible person as well, and just I don't
By
know.
horrible,
Like,
you mean violent?
and morally questionable. Like,
Well, I mean, in what way are they not the same? I mean, what
right.
besides violence is an example of?
Yeah, I don't know. Just choosing not to attempt to save the baby of the dying mother. I don't know. Like,
Not to save the baby of the dying mother. I don't
remember when she accidentally shot a pregnant woman?
Oh yeah, right.
And the woman was like, no, I know how to do this. Take this knife and cut the baby out of me.
And she wouldn't do it.
And she was just like, no, I can't. And also,
Because she was
I don't
scared
know.
to.
Yeah, but like,
It wasn't a decision based on anything other than physically she was too blown away she couldn't do it. That was my takeaway. It wasn't like, no, you're not worth it in any way. It was
no,
like she
it
couldn't
wasn't.
imagine
It
it.
wasn't. Yeah.
And then what was she going to do with the baby, kind of thing? If that came in,
Right.
then it was basically allowing a natural abortion.
Right. So, I don't know. Like, TV shows where I don't like any of the characters are hard to
You didn't like
watch.
Joel?
Joel was fine. I mean, he made a questionable decision at the end of the first season. But boy, did I like the flashback where it was him and her on the porch. Like, that was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
the whole flashback sequence of
The 2 years, going back over 2 years, yeah.
well, and just the whole, I hope you do better than I did as a parent.
Yes.
Like,
And
that's a beautiful message.
the only time in the whole show, if this is correct, that they went back in time. No, it's not true, because did the show start when his daughter died in his arms, or was that
Yeah,
a flashback?
yeah. No,
That's
that
when
was the
it started.
first episode. Yeah,
Right.
and then they were like 20 years later. Yes.
Yeah. So, so this was a flashback of his father, and it was very touching. Actually, I thought it was very, very well done. What I thought was striking and almost remarkable was what a job they did to have in the boy who played him when he was 13, whatever he was, his resemblance, his attitude and his voice. It was such a great find, this kid. And I wondered if I looked at it, I wonder if it was I ate a little bit, you know. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, casting is really a tricky thing. I bet it was all actual, just general casting, but like in LA, you put out a casting call, and you say, I want Latino men from 15 to 18, and you get 2,000 people are lining up to try
An
and
extra, right?
yeah, or to try and have the 3 lines that guy had or whatever. I don't know, but it. I don't know. I'm kind of like I've listened to the podcast from the creators and several others of just general consumers that yeah, okay, fine, like the second video game, because there's one video game that was the whole first season, and then there's the second video game that they're splitting up to be 2 seasons, but they're gonna wait like a year to start filming the next one or whatever, and so I don't know if I'm gonna still have interest a year from now or 2 years from now, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we can. So I watched Mountainhead, which we can talk about.
So the ending.
Yes.
Has her in what we've seen so many times before, an end cut, dark room, 2 people with guns, 1 shot,
Yeah.
blackout.
Yeah.
And since Joel's character was taken away and predictably not really, he sure was prominent in the remaining episodes.
Yes.
Ellie, the thing that I found interesting was the woman who murdered Joel was sought out by the director, and he was thrilled to get her. And when I saw an interview, he was talking about how incredible she was in this thing and that thing and the other, none of which I knew. In fact, she was new to me, and I was not particularly impressed with her. I thought she did a fine job, but
the character of Abby.
Abby, exactly right.
Yes. Okay.
And it kind of stood out a little bit. And then with the season ender, one possibility is that Ellie is dead, and the series becomes central about her.
Okay. So
that can't be, because she's not immune, and they wouldn't end that element of the series, that the only person in the world who's immune needs to be alive and well, or it has to be. The series has to have her in it. That's my view.
Okay, so did you notice the scene after the blackout gunshot? The title at the bottom. You said Seattle Day 1.
Yes.
And what does that mean to you?
That means to me that premonition of could be Abby's turn. This series could bend, and for I wouldn't be surprised if next season starts with us not knowing whether Ellie is alive or not.
Okay, so far they've been saying Seattle Day 1, Seattle Day 2, Seattle Day 3. Like, they've been walking us through this and going, and so now when they say Seattle Day One, they're rolling us back
To what other
to,
perspective?
to watch it from her perspective,
From who's Abby's?
from Abby's perspective.
Her
So
POV.
her POV, exactly. Well done. Look at you. So, but like this, I don't know if this is common in video games, but this was common in this particular video game where at different points of the game you are playing as a different character. So you're playing as Joel, and then later, for some reason, you're playing as Ellie, and then you're playing as Abby or whatever. So,
At your choosing?
no, at the games, like the game is very scripted. Like you have to go through this process. Like if you, when I was playing it, I ran into a place where I was like, I don't know what to do here. And when I was walking around enough, just totally as a doofus, as Joel, the the AI that was playing Ellie said, "Hey, what about this ladder over here?" And so I like so like they help you through it, but it was. But as a video game, you play as different characters, and that makes it. Uh, the podcast I've heard analyzing the series talk about how playing the video game, you like it's you doing the things, it's you doing the questionable killing of innocent
right.
people, and it's and you're
the character.
as the game player you have to reconcile with the moral judgments that has to happen here, in a way that watching someone on screen isn't that way. Uh, but all the intel is that the third season is going to be from Abby's perspective, at least those last 3 days, and then we'll see what actually happened with Ellie.
Well, and
but
so
I can't imagine. Like it would be such a like any time that they feel the need to black out the screen and give a gunshot, if the gunshot is where the gun was pointed, like that's super lame. Like that can't be the actual thing that happened. Like it's always in
a question.
no, but it's always some other gunshot came from somewhere else.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Like,
I think yes,
never,
sometimes. I don't know about always. But,
yeah, but never has there been a someone's pointing a gun and then it's a boom and it goes black and it turns out no, actually the gun was the fire, like they shot the person that they were pointing at. Like that doesn't happen. I don't know. Anyway,
and so that, I never actually recovered from my earlier voiced opinion that they got kind of schmaltzy and corny, and this was like a lovey-dovey thing, and the guitars and stuff, and it seemed to me that trying to play up a sensitive side stretched all credulity, and I just thought, I don't see that. I don't see her walking into a gym where it's completely set up for a band and the guitars are all just kind of tuned up mostly and ready to go. It seemed out of... And then I think I'm being a dick, that like I just want like an action flick, which isn't the case. I love the characterization and the relationship building that's all been part of it to date. I just find the the lovey-dovey girlfriend thing just odd. And if it were schmaltzy like that, and it was a man and a woman, I would feel the same way.
Yeah.
Be like, what? Why are you getting all flowers and googly and whatever? And I think if it's done right, I saw a movie yesterday where it's done right. Jude Law plays a Russian sharpshooter who gets into a one-on-one combat in World War II with the German sharpshooter.
Enemy at the Gate?
Ed Harris.
Enemy at the Gate?
Yes. And the relationship, the fraught relationship.
And Rachel Weisz.
Yes, Rachel.
God.
In fact, Rachel's character
I'm in love with her.
and
Yes.
Jude Law's character.
Yes,
And
Rachel Weisz.
the way that they handled their love
yes.
is credible. The way that it's portrayed in this, the Last of Us, is schmaltzy. It's just schmaltzy. It's like,
True.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Unlike Succession, which was never, there wasn't a moment in Succession that was schmaltzy. Not one moment.
Was there romance in Succession?
Romance.
I mean, not really.
Just romance.
No.
Well, Greg actually exuded romantic vibes and was pretty innocent about it. I particularly like when he met the princess from Monaco at the wedding, and he was just told that he was so far out of his league. But that was that was a little bit of romance, but mostly not. No, Shiv and who? Tom. Yeah. He was like tried to be romantic a couple of times, but the ending of that, I rewatched the whole thing during my illness. I think I'm glad we're talking about it. That I redid all that. I redid the young Pope. I redid all of the old Pope. I'm doing Band of Brothers.
Wow.
And I'm about to start again while I'm reading the book. So I go chapter, episode. So I've been a very busy
Nice.
couch potato. When you're laying on your back in front of a 45-inch television screen for 20 hours a day, you tend to use it. I think I wore it out. It's starting to break up all the time. Why is that? Why does it break up? Why does it buffer? Is that on their end or my end?
I mean, you're buffering right now, so I can't tell. So, since we talked last, I went to two.
Right. Denmark?
No.
Greece and
Madrid and Athens. Two major capital cities of the Mediterranean peninsulas.
So let's talk Madrid. Let's talk Madrid. I have lots of questions. Number one, what was the best meal you ate in Madrid?
So we did this weird thing where we drove there. It's a 4-hour drive. And my wife and kids and I drove there. And we have this friend there that has some family money and has this apartment in the in the center of the city. Like, I don't know how much this apartment costs, but it's like millions. and she was away for the time that we were there, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you can totally use my apartment." So she left a key with her nephew, who met us there, and we lived in her apartment for like 3 days without seeing her at all. In the center of Madrid, like
Oh
it
yeah.
saved us. It saved
Well, and
us
beyond that,
at
greater,
least 500 euros.
but
Uh,
greater ambiance and facilities
yeah,
than you could ever
yeah,
rent.
like just being right there next to a metro station, and it was just amazing. Uh, so, and also, she had a private parking spot, which parking, of course, in a major city is like the
Yeah.
worst. So we we went like is like 4 stories underground to get to the parking,
Oh no
and
shit.
yeah, and so there was a parking spot for us, and we left the car there, and we spent 3 days there as a family, just exploring the
Never used the
city.
car again until you left.
No, no, no. And we saw the first night we got there, we saw the play of The Lion King. Uh, in Spanish, it's Rey Leon, which is Lion King. And the Lion King play it's all about puppets. Like they make the animals come to life as puppets.
Yeah.
So like the giraffes are like dudes on stilts with their legs and their hands and a big thing over their head that where they're walking around.
So
But
they look like
also
costume humans.
like yes, but it's they create these animals out of amazing puppetry. Like I can't say it any better than that, but it was really astounding to see.
What a
Uh,
blast. The whole family, huh?
yeah, yeah. So
God.
we saw that on the first night, and then we went to see the royal palace and blah 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 other stuff. But so and then my family left, and they left me there. My family left in the car, and I was there, and I gave a conference talk. Uh, I went to a hotel that the conference people had paid for it, and I gave a talk at a conference, and I spoke to some other people at the conference, which was nice. Uh, and then I flew back home, and then last week, uh, I flew to so uh, last week. My wife and I flew to Athens, Greece, where we had where like I was like they had already booked me for a place in the hotel, but then when I said, "Oh, my wife is joining me," for some reason the conversion of my single room to a double room meant that like we couldn't be in the hotel, so they booked us for another apartment like other elsewhere in the city, and it was this beautiful apartment looking up at the Acropolis. Uh,
What the fuck?
yeah, it was pretty amazing.
You got
And
pictures?
yes,
You gonna post them?
and yes, and uh, so my wife and I stayed at this place. So it was a two-day conference, and during those 2 days, my wife like went off and explored the city and did tourism and shit, and like learned all about all the stuff. And then on the final day, we had a day together where we walked around, and then we came back home, and it was amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my time. But the Greek food was crazy. Like the uh, the Greek salad has no like lettuce. It's just chopped up veggies with a big block of um, feta cheese and some oil sprinkled on, and lovely. Anyway,
And what was the meat that you ate?
so I did not realize this, but Greece and Turkey have had a lot of um, cultural swaps. So they have a lot of lamb, like a lot of kebab lamb sort of stuff in Greece. So that was one of the meats that we ate, but also like shrimp and
Mm,
cod and uh, squid. Lovely,
lovely,
lovely.
lovely. Well, I've been watching in my entertainment world a lot of food uh, videos of all sorts of dishes. I must see 40 or 50 of these a week and watch them and learn and I'm drawn, of course, to anything salty and crunchy.
Indeed, aren't we all?
And one of them that I recall that gives you an idea is that you take your onions and slice them horizontally,
Yep.
and then you lay them on a pan that's heavily oiled and sprinkled with cheese, and you put those on there, and then you use a weight and you squish them, and then you add another layer of cheese and whatnot, and then you bake it so that when you lift it up, it's one giant cheese cracker, onion cracker,
Nice.
and you break it into pieces and chow it.
Mm.
Anyway, that's just an example of what these are. It's and of course these wild memes that are going on about aliens, three aliens like in the trenches during like an invasion of some kind. The aliens are telling jokes in the trenches, and the and they've got these amazing giggles and laughs that are just infectious, and they're so silly.
What?
Aliens, and very realistic, kind of with stuff going on in the background. And one of them was that I can't believe it, running into the trenches here. I was attacked by a farmer. He threw milk all over me, and how dare he? And the other aliens just laugh and giggle and laugh because it's funny. How dare he? You got to see it. Post it. It makes you laugh, like the little kids now that they have, right?
Yeah. So
Imitating adults.
yes, two things. One of my favorite things on the internet now is like yes, now it's really easy to fake for AI to generate video of people talking into a microphone, like we're on a podcast or whatever. But one of my favorites is there's this guy who does this thing called like the Talking Baby podcast, and but there are many other examples
Yes.
of people but there are many other examples of
Yes.
people using that particular baby model to do stuff. But this guy who has the as far as I'm concerned, the original Talking Baby podcast, where it's him with it's a baby with a dog, and they're talking back and forth. That shit is so good. Like, it's all about the writing. Like the script that they do is amazing. Unlike ours.
The others are just AI shit. I mean, and facial characters, and I got one the other day. Somebody mailed me. I think my spouse, and it was character after character after character, and it was like there was no framework to it. I mean, it was like, okay, but you do 5 or 6 of them in a row, you like. Change the channel, man. I mean, as opposed to the interviews, which were hilarious, and they were interesting. They weren't just the imitation. The imitation was secondary to the banter.
Yes, of course. The banter, the banter is primary.
It was just damn funny stuff, and oh Lord.
Yeah. Anyway, but that stuff is amazing. Let's see. This past week, I have achieved a life goal of
really? Masturbated 12 times in one night. You finally did it.
Yes. We had this apartment in Athens with so we were in an apartment there were 8 apartments in this one building. We were on the 3rd B, so there was 1A, 1B, 2B.
Was there not 2B, or there was?
There was 2B, and then there was not 2B. Yes, that is the question. But on the roof, like there was a way to go up to the roof, and on the roof you had this beautiful view of the Acropolis and the Parthenon. It was all lit up at night. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And up there was a jacuzzi. And the jacuzzi was not warm. It was warm. It was whatever warmth that the sun gave that day. But we went up there and we went out to the local store and we bought some ham and some bread and a bottle of wine, and we went out to have we went up to the roof to have dinner one night.
4 of you or 2 of you?
2. No kids.
Oh, no kids in Athens, huh?
No kids in Athens.
Wow.
And so then
some points.
Yes, and so then I had the idea of, hey, let's jump in the jacuzzi.
And it was cold.
Well, let's jump in the jacuzzi without a swimsuit.
With what?
Just let's jump in the jacuzzi naked and watch this and look at this beautiful cityscape. And so it took some convincing, but we ended up accomplishing my goal.
How absolutely scandalous!
And it was like it was relatively private. Like no one was really looking.
Relatively. Well, I'll bet you that you and she had maybe differing definitions of but also it was of privacy.
But also it was cold. So
the water was cold. The air was cold.
It wasn't for very long. No, the air was nice, but the water was cold. It was too cold. It churned, but it was.
So who cares?
But a cold churn is a cold churn.
Right.
So,
you know anyway. What they say in in let's see, what was it? The young pope. When you have a beautiful thing, even when it's really cold, it's still very beautiful.
Indeed. Yes. So anyway, we had a moment there briefly while we could stand it.
It was a little wild thing, and then you went in and dried off and scampered around like a couple of puppies and made
Indeed.
a video that's I saw last night. It was pretty
Yes.
active. You guys look good. I'm surprised your wife let you mount that like that on the bookshelf, but good job, man. And,
But anyway, it was,
hey,
it was
and just one question: who was that other guy?
That was Dimitri. He was another Greek.
Of course it was.
No, but I've personally never done a skinny dip in a rooftop jacuzzi
Yeah.
in
Well, I'll
Greece.
tell you a jacuzzi story. Back in the day when I was in my 20s, I happened to be out in Oregon and was in Coos Bay. And outside of Coos Bay was something still there called the Cougar Reservoir. The Cougar Reservoir was a slender lake that when I was there, they were doing cool things like log rolling and shit like that. There were people camping all around it. It was an open camp area. We ended up camping there when I was traveling out that way on public land. We didn't need a permit. You just pitched your tent. But the lake was the reservoir had up the mountainside a series of sulfurous hot water pools. The top one of which was so hot there were signs that said "Do not enter," scalding, and they went from a drip, 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 smaller a stream to a smaller one, a larger one, a smaller one. When you got to about the third tier down, pool that would maybe hold 3 or 4, it was 105 degrees, even 106 degrees. And then by the time you got down to the last one, there were one more maybe, and it was big. It would hold 20 people. It was 103 in the big pool. But that big pool, not to get too French on you or anything, but I tell you what, that was a good place to
Yes.
yes, just yes.
To bathe.
Oh Lord,
Indeed.
Lord, and it was interesting to learn how hot it got by climbing up and sticking your feet and shit in, and realizing that the steam just teeming off these things, it was too hot. It would burn you.
Right.
And I've been in hot springs. I was in hot springs in the Big Sur, where it was a good 104, very sulfurous, and it was it was about a 4-mile hike into Big Sur to find these things. I got written instructions and followed the goat path, basically. But this one that I'm talking about was so much in Cougar Reservoir outside of Portland was the best. Be interesting to learn. I should just Google this. What's that like now?
Right.
Whether the heat is still there or whatever. And I made a big mistake. I brought up only one beer.
Oh man. Well, don't worry. We're almost done.
I was using my discretion. I've already decided I'm going to scoot down the stairs on my butt rather than do the peg leg.
Nice. So, yeah, Athens was amazing. We did this same trip that I did last year with the same people, with the same organization, where we took a little bus ride around the coast, and boy, like the water in Greece is the bluest thing you've like. There's nothing bluer than that water.
I would venture to say, Google the Keweenaw River in Alaska, and then get back with me.
Like, boy,
amazing though.
Yes, it's just
crystalline.
And my theory is that it feels so blue because the land that, obviously, the land is so like gray and drab, so the water just like pops out as so blue.
But it's mineral based phenomena.
I don't know, like
sure
maybe, but
I mean
yeah,
it's a content. It's what is the river made out of, and whatever it's made out of has a turquoise color. That
but
poppier because of a drab surrounding. But that's the story with the Keweenaw too. Go ahead and Google it. I'm sure it'll meet. You'll look at it and say, that's pretty blue.
Yeah. So,
well, what fun!
But it was a lot of fun, and it's so.
You're like a troubadour.
So, yes. And it's so crazy to be in a place where they use a different alphabet, right? Like, where you can't read the letters because they have a different alphabet. It's just like, what is this?
That's
the triangles and the.
That's like English, which is I'm losing so many words that I'm standing there like pointing at something, and it's like, oh yeah, car.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, quite not that bad.
Quite not that. So I. Do you want to talk about Mountain Head? Like I watched.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I watched it last night.
The whole thing.
And at first, I thought this was a TV show. I didn't realize it was a movie. And I started watching it, and I was like, okay, these are rich assholes being assholes, and I was like, ugh.
Why is that interesting?
Right. So,
why is this banter and all this stuff about money and writing the money on your chest? Why is that interesting? That's like so.
It isn't.
It's stupid and artificial and not well done. Miscast.
Well, I don't know. They felt like real representations of the knuckleheads that rule our world.
Eventually they did, because I watched the first 5 minutes and shut it off, 10 minutes probably, because it was ridiculous, and I thought this is going to get any better. And then I got bored channel surfing an hour and a half later and turned it back on again for the next minutes, which was equally as this goofy, this banter, and what I thought was an interesting provocation is the genesis of the drama, being a proliferation of, AI and enemies, whereas they didn't spend any time really getting that context, which would, in the screenwriter's view, would explain how big assholes these guys really were, but it would have put into it and emotional context, the visualization of what was happening on the ground with masquerading AI gangsters coming in and people burning and killing, they didn't show any of that. All of it was removed with characters that began with riding in on jet planes. And unlike Succession, which was similarly situated, there wasn't anything interesting about the characters. It was like the environment and the surroundings and the banter was somehow enough to carry. It was like, well, no, you've got to have some really good actors who are really interesting to look at and to listen to. Where's your Brian Cox? Steve Carell? Steve Carell, I was waiting for him to tell a joke. He never did. He was miscast.
Okay, so the entirety of the movie is a comedy farce.
Yes. So I knew as I attempted to be patient and go back, but I couldn't.
So the rest of the movie is a comedy farce, but
is it funny? Do you laugh out loud? Do you chuckle?
I
can't believe you do. Are you amused?
It was amusing because it was amusing.
Amusing.
But it was but it's kind of a pointer to our time where there are these billionaire overlords that could control the world if they wanted to. And I think that was the main message.
Yeah.
That, like, because I have long said that if Jeff Bezos wanted to turn off Amazon Web Services, it would take down half of the internet, and it would take down like government services. And so, like, if he did that, that would be like the government would have to come in and swoop in with a SWAT team and be like, "Hey, turn that back on." And like, I don't know, like, we rely so much on these billionaires to keep wanting their profits that if they ever wanted to just like switch off, like, the world would end in a way that is weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the idea that, like, it's very Black Mirror. Like, I keep pitching you this show called Black Mirror that's on Netflix that you don't have. That it's very dark in that way of, oh yeah, like the world is run by these 5 dudes, and that is kind of not false.
So it seemed to me that Schwartzman's character was unlikable.
Well, yeah.
And then the next guy, who ended up goading the richest man in the world, he was annoying. And Carell wasn't annoying, but everybody else was. And Carell just seemed to me to be out of character.
But they're supposed to be.
Huh?
They're supposed to be annoying.
I know. Well, so my point is this. You had said earlier, you find it hard to want to watch a show where you don't like the characters.
Yes.
And so the only character you might like is Carell, and he's not doing it well enough to really like it.
Correct.
You know, and he's I don't know. To me, he's just miscast.
Yes, and I watched it to have watched it.
Yeah, that's what I
like
tried to do.
yes, and mainly to talk about it here, but it wasn't. There's no Oscars here.
No. Well, and as much as I liked the director of this, I liked him as a writer. Jesse Armstrong, I believe, is his name. He was astounding in his writing, his collaborative writing with Succession. And the director was a completely different animal than him. The director, among other things, is picking the cast as opposed to the screenwriter. And as a result, that's a big deal. And I'd be hard pressed to tell you the name of the director for Succession. I knew it at one time in my life. But that, in fact, was the banter in someone else's mouth might have been good. Such banter, not dissimilar than Succession, coming out of Tom's mouth, and certainly coming out of Roman's mouth all the time. Well, everybody. Yeah. The shit they said was remarkable. This banter wasn't that remarkable. It wasn't that interesting comparatively.
No, but it felt very awkward tech bro-y in the right way. Like, it felt authentic to me.
And you're in that world, so you felt it was the right way.
Yeah, like I've heard banter like that, and also they totally misused some words. Like they did, like whoever wrote that didn't really understand some of the words they were using. So like I noticed that, but it felt very tech bro-y. In the way that it was supposed to.
Yeah, I just seemed to be a low quality effort altogether. I'll tell you what I saw today was one of the very early movies, a war movie with the Irish actor. We love him. I'm drawing a blank.
What's the movie?
The Penguin. He was in The Penguin.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Is so young. A skinny 20-year-old. And how good that was. And excellent.
So I have had two things. First, you told me to remind you to tell me about Jeff.
Oh, so Jeff read this book called Tyranny, and he said it's a good read, and it puts the current political environment in context of the history of the world and the world wars and whatnot, and suggests that we got to remember that the only way to win the fight is one person at a time. And so what Jeff is going to do is putting up a sign in downtown Morganton that says, if you will play a game of chess or checkers with me, or a game of cards, then I will give you $1. And he wants people of all stripes to come and sit with him. And during that time, he's going to talk politics only to the extent to ask the person what they think, and see where the conversation goes over a friendly game. And to plant the seed of questioning, the MAGA cult.
Sure.
And I hope to God he doesn't end up with the MAGA guys and they beat the fucking shit out of him. Many of them do in fact carry weapons, so it's kind of like an every man's approach. We'll see if he does it. But I spoke to him for a while. It's been an interesting few weeks. I wake up, I had these dreams where I dreamt that my splint had buckles down the front of it. So I could wake up in the morning and take it off.
What a dream. All right, you got a song for us?
I think I might. Let me hear. Let's see.
Amazing Grace, the sweetest.
This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I left behind. A different prop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I
love.
Fire. This one goes out to the one I love. This one goes out to the one I left behind. A different pop to occupy my time. This one goes out to the one I love. Fire. 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 Fire.
Well done.
Ouch.
See you next week, I hope.
I'm going to slide down my butt down the staircase.
Alrighty.
Dragging my peg leg behind me. Oh,
Leg your butt.
Man, it's good to connect.
Okay, that's it for episode number 249. You can find a couple of show notes over at happyhour.fm/249. And you can help support the show at patreon.com/happyhour, where if you support at the Gin Martinis level, you can watch a video of our phone calls. So, hopefully, see you next week.